yours?
I can just yell, dude. I'm so loud. Oh, I just feel like I talk
On.
louder than it's.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Hi. Hello. Thank you. Manners.
Good night in Sacramento.
That was good.
Oh, I'm good. Hi, hello. My favorite color is yellow. I really enjoy April 14th as a date. If you can, all you need is a light sweater. So
What-
Random
wow,
question.
it's like glasses fam right now. Can we just?
I know. We look like a lens crafters
Foursquare.
commercial.
Okay, if you're not wearing glasses,
quadruple.
you need to leave.
Oh.
That alienates. We're in the majority, everyone. Majority.
Yeah.
Good
Coca-Cola's doing its job.
Smoke some weed on the I'm like, yeah, soda. She's like, put something feminine on. Just,
And
I'm
she's
la,
like,
la, la,
a
la, la.
strip
Just
of
put
ripped
like a
t-shirt
bow.
into my bun is feminine.
And it's cutesy little bow like that.
We're still dressed the same though.
Actually, the same outfit.
You know what they
Are
say.
you giving me the I'm ready indicator? Or is it just
What do they say?
I don't know.
fantastic? Cool. So thanks you guys for coming out.
Yeah.
No, I did really think that it would just be like us in here. So I really appreciate. So people that listened last time might know that last time I didn't have theme music, and I was like, I promise I'm gonna change it, but I didn't. So we're just gonna welcome to Friendfiction. We're just gonna leave it. We'll just leave it at that. I'm learning how to do a responsibility. Cool. So tonight we have Rachel Pyle,
Hello. Hi. Yes, hi.
and she's writing about Michelle Petro
Good eve, all.
and Emma Haney.
Yay.
Fantastic. Cool. So you guys remember, I don't know, a week and a half ago when we all hung out so that I could know what shows you guys had?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the part where I lost the sheet that I wrote it all on?
Oh.
You weren't there for that.
No.
Yeah, I did that.
Legal pad.
Cool.
It adds up.
So, I'm just gonna go by memory here. So Emma, you're producing Sheekend?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Co-producing. Jesse too. Co-producing.
Co-producing.
Yeah.
Feminism
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
its finest.
So
It is.
You wanna
Oh, tell them about it. Yeah, sure. So Sheekend, it's the last weekend of March, and we're having all female performers for Women's Month, which is great. Michelle's doing her show, Scene Kids. It's going to have an all-female
right.
cast.
On
We're going to have
Sunday.
2 or 3 stand-up shows and then a couple of improv shows, too. So whatever the last weekend of March is.
Yeah,
I don't have my phone.
wanna
The
say
so
27th through the 29th.
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good.
Get it, Peach. Women supporting women.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Thank you.
That's just gonna
My
live
memory.
around
My
now.
memory.
Cool. And then you do warm takes.
Warm takes here, yes. It's fun. It's a good show. Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, I'm just leading you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not good at this.
That was actually the warmest take to your show.
Yeah. It's true. It's pretty much just like improvised stand up a little bit, like performers. They're all stand up comics. Michelle's been doing it though. She's an improv comic.
I did it one time, but I
She did
I'm
great.
gonna do it again.
You're
on
gonna do
March
it, yeah,
28th.
because we don't have that many female stand ups. It's not true. We have a lot, but yeah. So I just give people random topics and then they riff off of them. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but it's always fun. Thank you.
Snapping now.
No, that deserved a snap. It's fine.
Excellent. Oh my God, what else do you do?
Stand up, you guys. I do stand up comedy. I co-produce a podcast here too called Must Love Digimon. If anybody, yeah, with Corey Behringer and Cameron. Yeah, it's great. I love it. Well, we've been doing like, what was the last one we did? Was like the food. Yeah, Monster Ranchers, and then what was the other one? Yeah, do you guys remember Fighting Foodons? I see you laughing in the back. You remember. I could tell by the glasses. But yeah, I do that. I produce another show over at the Comedy Spot, Fresh 5, where people write a brand new 5 minutes of material and then perform it for the first time. It's kind of like a workshop show. And I work at FedEx, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Claps for FedEx.
Yeah.
Claps for the workers at FedEx.
Correct. You're right.
Just on the subject of Must Love Digimon, actually the very first fan fiction I ever wrote,
Yeah.
I was 11 or so. I put it on the AOL chat room boards, and
Hell
it was
yeah.
it was like TK and Kari in high school.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Like that.
Do you still have a copy of it? Do you have a copy of it still?
No.
Oh, I'll send it. Send it over.
We'll do some edits.
Yeah.
Dude, literally, any internet sleuths, please find this.
Yeah.
This is all I need in my
You're
life
like, no.
is that.
Yeah. Nothing made me more angry in a fandom than when they did like the end of season 2 and Kari and Davis married, because Davis was my least favorite character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We need to have you on the show. You could do Must Love Digimon. We're like hot takes. This is from like the 90s. Hot
Right.
takes.
Oh man.
Peach.
Hey Mel. Hey
Hi.
Mel.
Hi. You do Scene Kids.
Yeah, I'm the producer of Scene Kids. We've been going strong now. Second Saturday for what's like a year and a half, pretty much, which has been a lot of fun. It's actually tonight, right after Friendfiction at 9 o'clock. If you guys want to hang out until then, you can.
Cool. You do so many shows, and I'm panicking.
Yeah, I do a lot of. I sit there sometimes and count them on my fingers. Like, man. Wow.
Yeah. You should donate a couple shows to the needy in these trying times.
I should. I'm one of those jerky hoarding improv preppers.
I 100% thought that was going a different direction when he started with jerk E. That was
Yeah, now because of End of Times, I'm making my own homemade beef jerky. If anyone wants,
I do.
I like it. Soy free. You can't find soy free beef jerky.
Nope. I take
So
it
I'm
back.
making some of my own.
Sounds like it's gonna be delicious.
I look. I check. I check.
Do you grow your own cows for that?
That's a good question. No. I use Bel Air skirt steak.
Real survivalist. Yeah.
Gotta find my bargains somewhere.
You also teach.
I
Improv.
have there's a drop-in improv class that I teach on Wednesday nights. It's for all improv levels. You kind of like get to dip your toe in the improv pool, I say.
Did that girl come that I told you about?
No.
Okay.
But
This girl. So like, I am very one to like go to places and go to bars and be like, you should do improv. You would love it. And this one girl that I met at this bar playing pool one night, I was like, you should go do it. And she was like actually interested. And then I like gave her my phone number, not in that way, but like to do improv. I have a girlfriend. You guys calm down. And so she was like, okay, yeah, for sure. And then she actually followed through and texted me about it, about doing drop-in with Peach. And I was like, oh my God, you should go. Her name is Peach. She's going to introduce herself as Michelle, but like her name's still Peach. Call her that. She'll love it. Tell her you know me. It'll be great. And then she's like, I'm gonna do it. And she fucking lied. So.
A lot's happened in the last 4 days. So, that's could be part of it. Maybe not.
Probably
Maybe so.
Let's say that is it.
That's
because
the reason. She would have been there otherwise.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Right? Message us. Comment on this live feed if you can. If you're
Her
the one.
name's Vanessa. Vanessa, if you're listening, I remember you.
Okay.
And you need to come out, okay?
Come on. Improv taste test. It's on hiatus until April, but come on through.
Yeah,
once
in
you're ready.
April. Stay inside. Unless you want to come here right now, then that's fine.
We all need to just do ourselves.
Yes.
In
Hell
the
yeah.
most wholesome way.
Sorry.
Next.
No, you're okay. Rachel, as I was sitting here listening to you talk about peer pressuring people into doing improv, it dawned on me that your entire personality is being an obnoxious man, but getting away with it because you're a charismatic woman.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so true. That's all I have going for me is my yelly personality. Honestly, it works out for me.
And your septum piercing.
And my septum piercing, yes.
You have skills and talents. That's not.
Nope. Just this face and my loud ass mouth, baby.
I mean, you're selling yourself short. You also have breasts.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true. I got titties.
The last time you were here, you were talking about starting a podcast.
Oh yes, it's called Trash Takes. It's a shitty pop culture podcast. It's Trash Takes, an asshole's guide to pop culture. It was like me. It's now on Podbean. You can Google it. I haven't really been posting about it a lot because I'm still like cleaning it up. But I have a dope ass fucking intro, you guys. Mel, if you want help, I'll make you one.
Thank you.
This is women helping women right here.
Women helping women.
In a way.
No one's clapping.
No, because I'm wrong.
They're like,
because I'm wrong.
It's because I just told the story about Vanessa not showing up. So they're like,
We're still emotionally raw.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking
but
Vanessa.
yeah, that's a thing. I'll post it to my Instagram or something, which is I rechanged my handle to trashpile, PYLE_.
Nice.
So check it out. It's going to be great. All my shows are kind of shit canned because of this virus. So catch me somewhere. I'll catch you guys somewhere. I won't be catching that virus, though.
Mm-hmm. Wash your hands.
That's it.
Just the weakest clap for that. Everybody's just like, but I want to die.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Wow.
I don't know.
I know. I wish you would have crushed it on your head.
Too delicate.
Yeah.
Of a face.
The hospitals are really inundated right now. We cannot afford to take
Yeah,
pizza right
that's
now.
true. That's true. But they have all the hand sanitizer and toilet paper.
Yeah, the sluts. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, women helping women. That's what that was.
Cool. So we got through this part super fast because I didn't have my notes. So now I'm just gonna ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Emma, you've been doing stand-up because you just.
Oh, me.
I'm just gonna circle through.
Okay, cool.
You've been doing the stand-up for a pretty long time.
Yeah, 10 years. This year and this month.
Wow.
Yeah. Right? Here I am.
What made you start doing that?
My dad was really into stand-up when I was younger, so I always watched it with him. And then I just talked about this on that other podcast. I was super no, so it's like fresh in my mind. And I had really bad anxieties when I was a kid. Like I didn't talk to people till I was like 6 or 7. I mean, outside of like my immediate family. So I had to go to therapy when I was kind of young to like break through that or whatever. And one of my exercises was I always had to write. Like if you're gonna talk to someone, what would you talk to them about? And so I'm like, ha ha ha, like, how about that airplane food? Just like writing, just like, so I started writing at a young age, and then I waited till I was like 21 to start so I could drink.
I thought you meant talking for 1 second, and I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, I was just that silent gal in high school where they're like, "Oh, she's cool, she fucks." You
I
know,
was
she
like-
fucks.
I was like, yeah,
she's
I'm
so
into it.
quiet. She's so quiet. But
What-
yeah,
What was your childhood warm take on airplane food?
Yeah.
I was like, "This food, right? Too salty. It's too much, too much salt." I didn't even know. I didn't even say sodium. Too much sodium. Ah.
Peach.
There you go.
No.
You're also like a scene veteran, in my opinion.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the Sacramento scene. I don't know, since 2012.
Peach, how old are you?
I just.
Sorry, was that rude? I don't know.
It's fine.
Oh,
I got
was with you. You
mistaken.
turned 32,
I
right?
did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, on Sunday.
Congrats.
Thanks. Thank you. You too, in the front row there.
Hell
I see you.
yeah,
I recognize
nice.
you. Yeah, but I got mistaken for a 25-year-old a couple weeks ago. I was like, thank you, moisturizer. What?
No.
Yeah.
Were you just like I mean, my assumption has always been that you were just a theater kid in high school and you never stopped.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, I did track and field though. I was in. I played basketball for a long time too. There was a balance.
What were your events?
Oh, shot put.
Dude,
and
I didn't
discus.
want to clock you
That's
as
what
that,
I
but
did
like I
too.
clocked you as that.
You know.
I did
Yeah.
that too in high school. Shot
Sing-
put discus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
I was about to say that was what you did in high school and you had to come out.
That's accurate.
I did have a few friends like tell me like,
Yeah.
hey, you're probably gay. A little gay, a little. You're probably gay a little bit at least. And I was like, no.
It's like, excuse me, that is a rude, harmful stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. My like, for some reason, like deep rooted self homophobia was like, absolutely not. But no.
I feel like they need to do some like social studies. It's like, why are all the gays in shot put?
It's the tank top and shorts.
Yeah, it is. Honey,
Literally
yeah.
weighed down.
I played. I did water polo too
Water polos
Hell
full
yeah.
of gays, yeah.
for like 4 years.
Tell them what your nickname was.
Ooh, Hot Hands Haney. That's what they used to. That's what they
Yes,
called me in the
mama.
pool. So. Ooh.
Rachel.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Dude, I can talk for days.
I know. Wait, because you've been doing it like 2 years?
Comedy? My whole life is a joke. Yeah, here I've been doing, about 2 years now. Oh my God. 2 years? A year and a half, we'll say. Let's cap it there.
Okay.
Thank you. That's such a compliment. Thank you for clapping. Clap more. Yeah, I've been doing it for like a year and a half, I guess. It's really funny because people think my friend Claudia, who was on the last pod, she's not here. Don't clap. Everyone thought we were like BFFs before, and we literally met in Improv 101 at another place.
Mm-hmm.
And and we're doing it. We're doing the thing, and I'm still doing the thing. And that bitch isn't here right now. I hope she hears this. I love you, Claudia.
What made you do that?
Join improv?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what happened was, I had a boyfriend for 6 years, and then I broke up with him, and then I was like, I need something to do besides hang out with my boyfriend, and then who I no longer had, and then I was like, I'm gonna take a class at comedy because he never wanted me to do it. He didn't not want me to do it, but he was like, I want you to spend time with me, baby. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, stupid. And then I signed up for a class, took it, loved it. I missed it. I did a little bit in high school, so I like had the interest, Took a couple theater classes in college, that whole thing, that whole shebang. And I love attention. So it just worked out, you know?
It's a natural progression.
Yeah, it's like, where can I get the most attention? Where I make people look at me.
And like support you 100%.
Exactly.
Almost force it.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, like, you and I are both Leo moons, and I'm surprised there's not more of them doing this. Yeah. I'm sorry to make it about astrology. I make it all about astrology.
Leo
all the time.
moons. What?
We like attention, okay?
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
hold on. Wait, do you not know about the whole chart?
I know, kind of.
She has a co-star, but that's
But
about
I
as far
just
as
read it
goes.
because it's funny every day.
That's fair.
I
That's
laugh.
fair.
I send them to Michelle. I'm like, what does this mean?
I had to turn off those push notifications because they're rude.
Yeah.
Yes, some of them I'm like, I feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
This bitch to our
weird.
far left, Mel, got me hooked on the pattern, and it is so rude, dude. Like, I have never been more offended in my life. It'll basically be like, you're fucking up. And I'm like, I know pattern, okay? And I don't need that in my life. But also, I love it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember like
Seems like
downloading
you're
it
doing
and it just being like, you're a melodramatic workaholic with parental issues, and you just being like, fuck off. Think you know me? Cool.
But they do. There's cookies or something. You know, they're tracking us. They know us more than me.
Yeah. Plot twist. It's not even astrology. It's
they.
just
Yeah,
us
it's
being
just
spied
the-
on.
Yeah, it's ad buys.
Cool.
Okay.
So-
Get your tinfoil hats.
All
Here
right,
we
everybody.
go.
They're under your seat.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump into this because I've already read it and I'm super excited.
Okay.
We have not. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
This
and
is
I'm
a very
bad
ice cold
reader
reading.
out loud.
Yeah,
Ice
this is
cold.
we still do this table read style to make everyone
Well, this
suffer.
is thick.
Yeah.
Dylan, you should move your chair maybe next to Mel or myself.
Yeah. We've taken our token man and made him sit in the audience.
Is that me?
Um,
That's
cool.
me. Okay.
So, Rachel, what's the name? I have to talk into the
Oh.
mic. What's your name?
The name of this?
Mm-hmm.
It's Yemma the Rogue going rogue.
Cool. Cool. And then you are aware that you're narrating, right?
Yeah. You
Okay.
ready? Are we ready to go? All right, let's do it.
Okay.
There's a lot of pages.
28.
Yeah, this is thick.
Are we ready? All right. Our story begins late in the eve in the town pub. Orcs are arguing in the corner over which of the races have the most tender flesh. There's a mage charging 2 shillings to scry mermaids under a sign that reads, only fins. And one of our adventurers, Yemma, is hanging large sheets of parchment upon the pub walls. The barkeep is adorned in clothing that could only be described as the Shrek, paired with long, matted strands of hair. He stands behind her, his 2 forefingers to his lips, a hand on his hip, pensive, seemingly trying to read the parchment hangings.
Oi, what's that say? You know right well folks in this town ain't exactly literate.
Do I have to do a voice? Because I cannot
do-
do that.
Do whatever you're
Oh,
comfortable
good.
with.
Okay. It's the same. Tis for my performance, Yemma the Rogue in her one-woman show, Going Rogue.
Girl, if I've told you once, I've told you.
Divin pauses. He looks to his fingers to count beyond the single forefinger.
More than once. A rogue don't belong in front of people. They pose to live in the shadows. And last time I let you do that, you kill all my patrons for frowning things at you. It was so horrible.
You go, Divin.
That's great. I'm like, shit. I do apologize for that. This time will be different. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Divin.
Divin. Sorry. I have to repeat it how it's said to me. I've changed. I no longer feel the call of the rogue creed coursing through my veins. I desire more than hiding in the shadows, stalking my unknown prey, pickpocketing the unknowing fools. More than feeling the rush after I release souls from their earthly bodies, more than coin for death. So, yeah. Beat. Oh, whoops.
A bit intense for a jester, ain't it?
I am no jester, damn it.
Divin.
I am a comedian.
Yemma silently disappears through the crowd. Divin, confused to where she went, yells loudly into the crowded pub.
What in the hell is a comedian?
Yemma is now outside, stalking her prey in the slightly damp town paths. However, true to her word of change, instead of taking from their corn purses, she's leaving small pieces of parchment, performance flyers as she calls them, trying to spread word of her one-woman show all through the land. When a hen grabs her own, Yemma's ankles suddenly become entwined by roots and she falls into the mud.
Oh no! I didn't know you would fall. Usually rogues are more nimble.
In a panic, Yemma attempts to remove the dagger from her waist, but vines quickly pin her wrist to the ground. Suddenly, she was more okay with this.
It's accurate. What does a fair elvish maid like you desire from me, druid?
I've been looking for you to aid me on a quest, rogue.
Well, how unfortunate for me. I can no longer aid you on your quest. I'm a performer now. I no longer slave for pay.
Yes, I did see your last performance. That was something.
I'm working up to a solidified 5 minutes. I would not expect someone of your like to understand.
Just because my people are comedians of the improvised does not mean I can't understand your art. That is in part why I came to you, dear rogue. What I seek can aid you in your craft as well.
Yemma's ears peaked at the idea that someone was finally legitimizing her as an artist.
What is it that you seek?
There's an herb that the king stole from my people. It brings joy to all, brings laughter to all those that partake in it, and makes all creatures more understanding of each other. It is perfect for your performances. But most importantly, it causes all creatures to, well, get high as fuck.
Yemma is immediately dismayed at the proposition.
If I am such an artist, as you say, I don't need the elvish herb to bring joy. Please release me at once. Or release me at once.
Yeah, there was no please.
Sorry. It was just natural. It was a natural reaction.
As you wish. I will see you at your next show.
The vines encircling the wrists and ankles of Yemma retreat back into the earth. Yemma abruptly jumps and is suddenly face to face with Peach.
You haven't told me your name.
It's Peach.
Of course it is, druid.
Yemma disappears into the shadows. We arrive back at the pub. Our adventurer, Yemma, is standing on empty casks of ale in front of a small crowd. Peach is at the back of the crowd, partaking in an elixir.
Hello to all. I graciously thank you all for attending. How are you all this evening?
There is silence.
So, I bet you all thought that dragons were hot-headed, correct?
Silence.
Well, have any of you encountered an orc?
More silence befalls the pub. An orc stands, outraged, placing their spectacles onto the bridge of their nose to get a good look at Yemma. They point at her. Racist! The orc leaves the pub. The crowd erupts with booing. Boo! As Yemma looks to Peach, who is shaking their head in the back. They lock eyes. Peach nods to the door as Yemma grimaces. Yemma nods back in reluctant agreement. And so our adventurers begin their quest to retrieve the elvish herb. Later on, we find our adventurers traversing through the forest. Peach takes the lead and Yemma follows, hanging her head over the performance she just catapulted.
Okay. Orcs have long been judged for their aggressive tendencies, while humans have long taken advantage of others. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. It is like my kind who have been griffinholed. I like that. That took me a second. It is like my kind who have been griffinholed into being nothing more than but cold-blooded killers, thirsting for nothing more but blood and coin. Sorry. Who have been forced into the shadows to do the bidding of other creatures, only to be scorned forever by the rest of them. I understand, Peach. I just do not quite yet understand how to convey my being to a crowd in a way that connects to our souls. I think I read through that fast, but you get it.
You're really intense for a comedian.
Oh.
Nonetheless, we live in modern times, and we must not be treating others with such malice.
The adventurers notice a man relieving his boughs on the edge of the thicket.
'Tis true, we live in a different age. 'Tis why I relinquished my lust for blood.
An arrow whizzes between the two, landing directly betwixt the shitting man's eyes. A man yells from the direction of the arrow.
Oi, Yama, what are you doing out in these parts? Give up on the gesturing, eh? Sorry about that. Carry on. May the goddess bless you.
The two adventurers enter the denser parts of the wood.
How are we going to enter the castle to retrieve your precious herb from King Ryan King then? King Ryan King. Yeah, I get it.
I know of a creature that is a friend to me. They can get us outside the walls of the abomination that is the king's castle.
Then how am I of any service to you?
You, my dear rogue, will sneak inside.
From within the dense trees, the adventurers approach a clearing. Within the clearing, there is a large circlet of mushrooms.
Fairy circle. It said in a harsh whisper. So I was trying.
Did we not just speak of it being a different time?
By lore, creatures who wander into the circle are tortured for all eternity.
That's only if you aren't chill with the fairies. God, hide here, rogue.
Peach prances with unabashed joy into the circle. She immediately turns into stone.
Oh, fuck.
Yema runs over and taps Peach with her blade.
Peach?
Peach is now walking alone in what only she could describe as many flashing suns in shades of purples, reds, and blues, pulsating to the heavy drum pounding filling her pointed ears. Unce, 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 while hearing the giggles of the fairies of the wood.
The library hath opened,
Whatever is a library?
solely because thou callest thyself a protector of all creatures, meek and beast alike. 'Tis no reason to dress like a beast.
Oh, that was unnecessary.
Peach suddenly finds herself in her most beloved woods, hugging her favorite tree. The tree awakens, looks down scornfully at Peach.
Get off me!
The tree uproots itself and runs in the opposite direction of Peach. Tears well up in Peach's eyes. She yells into the distance.
Melodious! I understand what you're doing. But that doesn't mean doth not hurt.
The world vanishes once more, and Peach is again encompassed by the heaviest of bass lines and the flashing of small suns. Yama is running frantically through the clearing, occasionally giving a poke to the stone body of Peach, but gives up and lays into the thicket in the fetal position.
Father and mother were correct. I should have never given up on being a rogue.
Peach now finds herself in her home with her wolf companion. Her heart lifts, and she runs to embrace him.
Oh, how I've missed you.
The wolf rips into her leg with a ferocious bite.
Oh.
But Yema is sobbing in the clearing.
Why did I think this could work out? I'm so proficient in the art of murder.
Peach's wolf companion continues gnawing on her leg.
Melodious, ruler of fairies. 'Tis just I, Peach, you silly harlot fairy. Melodious! I command you in the name of the goddess at once cease being such a cunt.
Melodious ceases to gnaw on Peach's leg and shapeshifts the wolf face into that of a human. The wolf body ever so slightly thrusts their haunches against the lower leg of Peach.
Oh, blessed be Peach. No one has come close to my fing for so long. I was thirsting for a treat.
Thing?
Fairy ring, please keep up to pace.
Yemma is rocking to and fro in the clearing, eyes locked on Peach's stone figure. Melodious is still in half-wolf form.
How is thou, dear Peach? 'Tis been a long while.
Melodious is still thrusting against Peach's leg.
Would you mind ceasing the gyrations against my leg?
My mistake. Things tend to become crazy in this realm. Shall we go?
Please.
Yemma is outright bawling in the clearing, such as a youngling human, but in their desire to be a comedian, she manages to find the energy to bring her body to her feet and draws back her dagger in a last effort to free her fellow adventurer. Suddenly, Yemma sees the stone corpse of Peach transform back to flesh. From behind her, Yemma hears a disembodied voice.
Not in my clearing, you fairy-fearing elf.
Evening is upon our adventurer, Yemma. She is lying in the thicket, face up and unsure of how much time has passed in the fairy circle of mushrooms.
Peach.
Yemma tries to sit up, but a small being is weighing down her chest. Yemma suddenly feels a pulsating pain between her eyes.
Shush, my dear girl. Your beloved Peach is collecting herbs for my damage dealt to your so-so face. It almost looks better now. A swollen nose befits Jesus Christ. Befits a swollen sense of self.
Fairies.
Yemma realizes she's in the circle and begins to panic.
The circle. Off me now, fairy.
The fairy to you, rogue. I am Melodious, ruler of the Fey Kingdom. No need to panic. The fairy circle can be a place of healing, should we so choose it.
Yemma relaxes.
Fine. What's the utmost worst that could happen? Oh, that could occur.
I would not will that into existence if I were you. Now, while you were resting, Peach told me you were going to the king's castle to avenge her mother. 'Tis truly the only reason I am not ravaging your leg as I was hers.
What?
Well, I tend to get ever so slightly carried away in the wolf beast form within the Fey realm, and for whatever reason I begin to,
No. Spare me those details. The mention of Peach's mother, she only spoke to me of retrieving an herb to help my comedy bits.
Well,
Comedic.
yes.
Comedic bits.
Well, yes, you see, her mother, Marigold of the Jaywaters, sowed the seeds that created the herb you seek, thus the name of the herb.
Peach never spoke of the name.
Ah, I see. 'Tis not to be spoken of by mortals at word of the king. Mary Jaywata. 'Tis the herb you seek.
Ooh.
Yemma flashes back to a parchment announcement she saw as a youngling. The elvish lettuce, solely say nay. Or the public shaming that, as memory served, went as such. A human was walking in front of the crowd. A man to his right declared to the crowd, "'Tis your head as is," as he pointed his finger toward the human. "'Tis your head on the elvish lettuce," as he sliced the head clean from their body.
I recall, 'twas all my life I regarded the herb as a toxic beast to my mortal flesh. Those of my race that partook in the herb began to name their children after the flesh of the world. Following in the steps of the elves, names such as River, Sparrow, or Dirt. In my past, I regarded names such as those as an omen to my eventual stop laughing at me. As though the goddess herself bestowed their names since I would place the corpses so close to their namesakes. Ugh. No more paragraphs, please.
Well, Peach was speaking the truth. You are ever so intense.
Yes, I'm aware.
Well, for Peach of the Jaywater, her mother is with the goddess now, after an attempt to retrieve her beloved herb from the great tyrant, King Ryan King, and deliver it back to the people. This is the quest you are on. Do you still receive it, or no?
I can admit where I have been wrong. I receive it.
Peach frolics back into the clearing.
Oh, good! You're up. I brought you something for the swollen nature of your nose.
Peach places a collection of forest herbs upon the face of Yema's. She places her hands upon her face as well, mutters phrases that Yema does not understand, and suddenly, Yema feels a sense of warmth, and her pain fades.
You appear as tragic as before. Shall we, ladies?
Yema rubs her nose, trying to determine if her appearance is in fact tragic.
Shall we what?
Melodious is going to teleport us through the circle to outside King Ryan King's castle.
They're gonna do what?
Meliodas brings her right elbow to their body, with her hand pointed toward the sky. They flop their hand down to the earth. And at once, everything was suddenly lit by more small-colored suns than one could ever count, flashing in all directions. Our adventurers were encompassed by a deep, heavy bass drumming, uns, 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 while hearing the giggle of the fairies of the wood. However, in this moment, they sing praise.
Come on, druid. Come on, rogue. You get that Mary Jawada, honeys. You slay that king. Yes, honeys.
Our adventurers appeared outside the wall of King Ryan King's castle, beneath some bush. The castle was the largest creation of mankind's doing. 'Tis of stone of the world's making, but nothing since is but man's beyond that.
Do you see this abomination? It is no regard at all for the goddess that provided for us.
Yes, I see it, but please do be quiet.
Do you know how long it takes for the goddess to replenish the stone used to create this?
Hush. I could pick the lock of the door there. Wait for my signal. Hide here, druid.
Yema silently approaches the door, true to her rogue form, and begins picking the lock. Yema suddenly feels a presence approaching directly behind her. Yema reaches for her dagger.
And did you know that the kingdom conjured thousands of elementals against their will to rip the stone from the earth? And the right on the side of the core, you're supposed to interrupt me. That's what those two dashes mean.
I know. You were doing so good. I'm like, yes, I know. I understand this is important to you, but this is not the time.
They did not choose to be here. The elementals, they were summoned.
The door clicks and they enter.
Please follow my lead and be silent.
Peach nods and puts a finger to her lips.
I understand.
We see our adventurers at the next chamber. Yema is picking the lock.
You do understand that the kingdom has the coin to pay mages a decent shilling for all.
They're at the next lock.
And all of the tapestries they force the romantic weavers to make for them. No one is speaking of this.
Next lock.
To coin it took to pay for all the extravagance. I mean, imagine if the kingdom passed it to the creatures of this land.
Dearest Peach, I support this about you. I truly do. But we are entering the king's herb room, so I suggest silence.
Silence. I understand.
Yema leans into the door gently, opening a silent gap into the next chamber. A great roar echoes through said chamber, followed by an equally great heat, nearly scorching the brows of Yema. Yema and Peach peer through the door.
Oh, Jazzy, stop it! Is it cuddles you seek?
Our adventurers see a dragon atop a mountain of what appears to be elvish herb, or what Emma more recently learned to be called Marijuana. King Ryan King lays on his stomach at the bottom of the pile, with his head resting betwixt his hands, swaying his feet to and fro. A dragon, that our adventurers can only assume to be Jazzy, blows a gentle flame from her scaled lips, lighting a slight part of the mountain of herb beneath her. She deeply inhales the smoke she created, then exhaled towards her companion, King Ryan King.
Oh, Jazzy, cease it! Thou art silly! You do know I deceased this marijuana to be against royal words solely, so you could hoard it all to yourself.
Jazzy, the dragon, rolls over onto her spine after another massive rip. King Ryan King attempts to scratch her belly. Jazzy swats back at him with her foreclaws. He pulls back, shaking his hands.
Well, all right then, Jazz. No cuddles. But I shall then begin my impression of diving. The barkeep. I do believe it's pretty good.
Peach is no longer able to calm her being and runs beyond Yama into the chamber.
Consent! You need consent to perform impressions of others in the community.
Fuck.
King Ryan King takes a single look at Peach. He sits on the mountain of herb. He places his elbows together with his hands to either side of his face, does the same with his legs, and then slides down the mountain of herb. Peach meets him head on while King Ryan King is still in the position on the floor.
Oh, hello, Peach of the J Waters. Now, you're not here to be in here.
And a king is not to be a villainous thief, but here we are.
Are you calling me a thief, Peach of the J Waters?
Seemingly from nothing, Yema appears behind King Ryan King. She wraps her hands around the bare neck, her dagger to his throat.
She speaks precisely what is true. You stole from all mankind for your own selfish use.
Yema, the rogue, I actually stole it for Jazzy. So...
While still in the hold of Yema, King Ryan King tilts his head away from the dagger, purses his lips, and places his elbows together once more with his hands flexed in a what of it manner.
Wait, is Jazzy not to my aid?
Ryan looks to Jazzy. Jazzy snores loudly upon the pile of herb.
Oh.
So you admit to your thievery? Do you also admit to thieving her mother's soul from this earth? Do you admit to stealing Marigold of the J Waters legacy? Do you admit to your crimes to all the creatures large and small in this world? Thieving their labor and unabashedly taking the fruits of the goddess solely to enrich yourself?
And do you admit to being a complete arsehole?
King Ryan King, while still in Yema's grip, manages to turn his hips out with his rear facing Peach.
The only thing I'm guilty of is having this juicy dumper.
King Ryan King once again purses his lips, this time bringing his forefingers to his lips as he rears his hips backwards, accentuating his, in truth, quite juicy rear end.
Tell me why I shouldn't smite you where you stand.
Well, I could give you notes. You are quite intense for a comedian.
Yema slices his neck and drops his corpse.
I don't take notes well.
Peach runs to Yema, embracing her closely.
I thank thee.
Suddenly, a snore, followed by a cough, followed by what sounded like a damp sneeze, echoed through the chamber. Jazzy has awoken from her slumber.
Fuck.
Jazzy roars as she sends flames into the stone ceiling.
You forgot. I'm a druid, one with nature and all... Oh. I'm a druid, one with nature and all creatures. I have this one.
Jazzy locks eyes on the pairs. Peach steps in front of Yema. Peach slowly approaches Jazzy as Yema retreats.
Peach, no.
Jazzy is steaming from her snout, eyes locked on Peach. Peach extends both her arms, welcoming the beast to her. She tilts her head upwards towards the creature, appearing to ready herself for an incantation. Peach starts tisking.
Come hither.
Jazzy becomes shy but tempted, tilting her large skull towards Peach.
'Tis okay. I mean you no harm. Come here. I mean you pets.
Jazzy places a hesitant claw towards Peach. Peach reaches into her pocket, revealing a new herb Yema has never laid eyes upon. Peach extends the herb towards her.
Come hither. I have something for you, beastie.
Jazzy approaches Peach, growling. Yema stiffens, fingering her daggers. Jazzy softly nuzzles the herb. Her eyes dilate. She begins nuzzling the herb over and over and over, flipping onto her spine, gently clawing the herb while nuzzling Peach. A soft rumble emits from the beast as Peach scratches her scaly neck. Peach smiles and looks at Yema.
Dragon nip, my own creation.
Yema exhales, but the moment of calm is abruptly interrupted as Yema remembers her show and panics.
Peach, what is the hour? My show is this eve.
'Tis an hour past sundown.
I'll never make my performance.
Of course we will make it. We have Jazzy now.
Peach and Yema collect a bag of the marijuana water and a bag of the seed to sow the herb anew.
Nice.
After a few moments of convincing, Jazzy agrees to be mounted, Elvish Urbanol, and the pair upon their new steed ascend to the sky, Jazzy roaring as they soar. They arrive outside the pub, which is surprisingly crowded considering the result of her last performance. Yemma is panicking.
I don't know if I could do this. My material is not yet workshopped. Peach, what doth one do?
Peach holds Yemma's face between her hands.
Be thyself. They will love you.
Peach gingerly kisses Yemma. Yemma nods.
And this will help.
Peach holds the massive bag of marriage water to the entrance of the pub. She signals to Jazzy. Jazzy sets the herb ablaze and smoke fills the pub.
Break thy leg.
Yemma enters the pub and stands atop the empty ale barrels once more. She looks into the crowd. She locks eyes with Divin, whose red eyes are squinting in her direction. She swallows sharply. She looks at Peach. Peach smiles and nods.
So, you thought dragons were hot-headed.
Yemma pauses. She remembers Peach's words, be thyself.
I murdered this king today. I was the last to sense the life in his being before his soul descended into the bowels of hell.
That's so intense! All ridiculous, yo! Killing the king!
The crowd erupts into raucous laughter. Yemma smiles and continues the rest of her set, being so intense it's comical. Peach leans against the door frame, Jazzy lighting her pipe as they watch Yemma finally become what she desired most, a comedian.
Yay.
Yemma the Rogue going rogue.
I know. I'm a terrible reader, like out loud. Yeah, but it was fun. It was good. Funny.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that because your whole bit was relied on me writing massive paragraphs
Oh,
for
God.
you.
Every time I saw one, I was like, here we go.
Just be thyself, and that's what you did.
Oh.
You can learn real lessons on this show.
Yeah.
Like how to fucking talk, for instance. Cool. Thanks again, you guys, for coming out.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks to the live stream people. I think the camera's somewhere. Yeah, thanks. Some of you were friends of mine that couldn't make it, and I appreciate your presence.
Yeah.
In spirit. Yeah, and thanks you guys for doing it.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having me.
having
It was
us,
fun.
Mel.
Yeah. Cool.
And
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for
so
writing that,
So stick
Rachel.
around.
Anytime.
We're doing Scene Kids at 9 and then Inside the Box at 10, which is a Jackbox show. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for having fun.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.